Hello everyone and welcome back to Prestige Reef. In the last 15 years I've kept all sorts of amazing fish. Having said that, not all my purchases were a good idea. In this video I'm going to show you the top 5 worst fish which I've actually owned and why they were a bad idea. Some of these will definitely surprise you. Number 5. Lionfish. This absolutely was one of the fish that got me into the hobby. At a very young age, I remember being at the aquarium with my mum and seeing a big cylindrical tank full of lionfish and saying, I want one of those as a pet. At the time, I had no idea that you could even keep them as a pet. She shrugged it off, saying they were venomous, but that memory stuck in my mind and I never forgot. When I got my first saltwater tank, it was completely planned around having a lionfish, and it was meant to be my first fish. I did eventually get one, but the reason they get a place on this list is because of how restrictive they can be. The idea of owning a venomous fish was cool for a 10-year-old, but in reality, they get huge, don't move very much. Mine needed to be hand-fed, which meant it was labour intensive, and they are incredibly restricted with regards to other tank mates which they might eat, which is why they've earned a place on this list. Number 4. Porcupine pufferfish. This is another fish from my very early days of fish keeping, before I even considered keeping coral. With regards to this fish, I've only ever had experience with one individual, so it's hard to know if this is a species-wide problem, or I just had the pufferfish version of Hannibal Lecter. My puffer was just a baby, only about 2 inches long, with that innocent looking smile like it could do no wrong. It was kept in a tank with several tangs, including a monstrous sailfin tang probably 10 times its size. A while after adding the puffer to the tank, the other fish started to get sick with what appeared to be a strange version of lateral line disease, where bits of their skin was missing. It took me a long time to work out what the problem was. During the day, the tangs were awake, fast and swimming around. At night, however, they were asleep and still. The pufferfish would literally bite chunks of flesh out of them while they were sleeping, and in the morning act like nothing had happened. After realising what the problem was, I immediately caught the fish and it went back to the fish shop, where it then proceeded to eat a clownfish the same size as it. Clearly it was a hungry little fellow. Number 3. Foxface Rabbitfish. This will be a very controversial choice, as I know many of you will come forward and tell me your foxface is completely fine. But again, in my experience, they find certain corals irresistible. Usually, acans and Trachyphylia. I've owned 3 types of foxface previously, the magnificent, bicolour and low. All of them have taken to eating certain species of coral. I do currently have one in my coral tray, however I'm well aware it's only a matter of time before it starts nipping something. They are more wary than other fish, which means they're less likely to go into a fish trap, and handling them with a net is problematic given their venomous spines can easily get tangled. Number 2. Coral Beauty. Another fish which can be amazing in the appropriate tank, but if you're like me and are willing to take risks, some risks will get you in trouble. I once had 7 dwarf angelfish in a reef tank all living in harmony. A bicolour, lemon peel, a spawning pair of flame angels, a golden angel, and the final additions were a pair of coral beauties. None of the previous angelfish touched coral for years until one of the coral beauties went rogue. Fish learn from each other, and before long it was a free-for-all and all-you-can-eat buffet. I ended up having to remove all of the angels, with the exception of the golden angel, which was too cryptic for me to catch. Although these are great fish, their reef safe with caution reputation is something to be seriously considered, as once they're in, they're one of the most difficult fish to catch. Although they have a reputation for being one of the more reef safe angels, in my opinion, and having kept many dwarf angels over the years, a flame angel is by far a better choice. This of course is my fault, as I ignored the warnings of them not being completely reef safe. And I have had the same issues by adding a majestic angel and an emperor angel, but with those I expected there to be a problem, where with the coral beauty, most people wouldn't expect there to be a problem. Number 1. Clown Tang. This entry will come as no surprise to many of you that followed the channel for a while. There are certain fish which have a reputation for being more aggressive than others. Soul tangs and powder blue tangs are a good example. However, in my experience, there are some peaceful versions of these fish. When it comes to clown tangs, however, they are all just bastards. I can only assume they have all suffered some sort of traumatic event at a very young age, because there is something seriously unstable about these fish. Usually with fish, the juveniles are more peaceful, and as they grow older, they can become more of a problem. With clown tangs though, even the very young ones are more than happy to shank anything that moves with their tiny tail blades. What makes these fish even more dangerous is they're one of the prettiest fish on offer, which means so many acris are tempted by their beauty and will live to regret it, like me. 3 times. Apparently I don't learn my lesson. That's it for today guys, hope you enjoyed watching my video. Please feel free to comment below if you have any questions. If you did enjoy it, why not click that like and subscribe button. Have a good week, and I'll see you next time.